What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Simmons once again coming to you live from Google Drive. And today, what I'm talking about is a really useful tool for you guys, and it's an advisory assignment, but it's going to be super helpful for you if you're planning on creating a resume. Some of you maybe have created a resume before, some of you maybe haven't, but this tool, I promise, will be a very useful tool for you because of the features that we've created. It's a 5-step process, really, and you're really looking at some of the most important things about you and important things to showcase about yourself when you're trying to apply for a job. So I'll just kind of briefly go through it here. The first one is a student resume, and it's the intro sheet. So basically, it's your basic information: name, address, city, home phone, cell phone, email address. Super easy. Next part is a career objective, where you'll talk about what you want. Some resumes you can add this in, some resumes you don't need to, but it's a good place to start thinking about the type of job that you want and why you want that job. The next one is a skills finder, help you showcase your skills. It has a couple guiding questions of how to do that. And then step 4 would be educational background. Tell people who you are, where you're from, and also some employment opportunities and things that you may have done. And then finally, the last is like your experience and other information about you. So whether you played sports or awards or things like that. And then finally, you got references for people who are, looking at your resume, who they can call, like see if you're not lying, or see how cool you are, or things like that. So what we're going to talk about is, I'm just going to briefly go through what these are. The directions up here are very wordy and explaining, explanative, very wordy, and explains a lot. I'm not going to make up a word. So really what this is, let's just start with the career objective. So once you type in your information, you go to your career objective. You can look at a couple ways to write your career objective. I broke it down into 3 formulas. Formula 1 is you're seeking what kind of position. So whether you're seeking position as a warehouse worker, whether you're seeking a position as a person to work at McDonald's, where you're seeking a position as a barista at Starbucks, whether you're seeking a position as an administrative assistant in a dental office, or something like that. That's kind of where you would start with seeking a position as. The next formula is where you're talking about your field of industry. So seeking a position in the customer service world, seeking a position in the medical field, seeking a position in the service industry, something like that. That's kind of where the second piece would go. Finally, then you'd be showcasing your abilities. Like, I'm seeking a position to use my people skills, my organization, and my timeliness, or something like that. So it's kind of like a couple ways to think about how you want to market yourself as a human being applying for these jobs. So that's kind of where the first part is. So like below is if you're looking for the position fields, or looking for positions. The first formula you type in: are you looking for entry level, or are you looking for an internship, or are you looking for a professional level? You could I'm also opening these so you can type over. Maybe none of these are the things that work for you. Maybe you're just looking for a full-time position or a temporary position. And once you type that in, you can check your box. Okay, I made it really simple. You fill out the blue. So everything that's blue is something that you should be able to type in if you want to. Some of them are other that you don't need to type in. These right here are something that you can type in. You could leave it blank. It's really a worksheet for you, to kind of get you thinking about what's going to be best for you as far as your skills or your career objective. The next piece is maybe the field. So you have I've listed a bunch of fields here. There's obviously way more fields than these, I don't know, 20 something fields. So you can be able to type in the fields that you want if you're looking for other fields like that. And then finally, your skills and experience, a summary of qualifications. So I have later, step 3 is skills finder that will help you do this, but this is just to get you thinking about what to do for Formula 3. We have data entry, computer skills, certification. There's any certification that you have. Maybe you speak a couple languages. Maybe you are, mature self-starter, something like that. So that is the way to kind of build a career objective. The next piece that we'll do is the skills finder. Now, some of you may know your skills. Some of you may not know your skills. Some of you may be unfamiliar or have some skills that maybe that you don't know about yet, right? So what I've done is I've come up with 10 questions to kind of help guide you of what your skills are if you're stuck. Sometimes, we have a tough time, like, thinking about ourselves. Sometimes we have a tough time, acknowledging what we're good at, and sometimes we don't have it's not easy to focus on the positive sometimes, and that's okay. What we're here to do is try to build that out so we can show who our best selves are to our future employers. So a couple questions are: good friends count on each other for a lot of things. What do your friends count on you for? Maybe you're there because maybe you're really cool because you always are somebody that they can talk to. Maybe you make them laugh. Maybe you are dependable. Maybe you are on time. Maybe you're the house that they go to when they need something. Maybe you are somebody who just can be depended upon. So that's something you could write there. What courageous things have you done that you feel good about? Like what? So what are you feeling good about? Who do you, what things have you? What are you proud of? And it kind of goes on the line like that. Couple good ones are which of those qualities. So, which subjects are you best at school? Why do you like those courses? Things like that. I could read them all to you, but you have other things that you need to do. This video could be a half hour long, but we're trying to stick within the limits of an advisory class. So, we're making it happen. So that's kind of a way to get you start thinking about your skills. Next piece are hard versus soft skills. So hard skills are like real things that you can say that you have or that you have done. So if you're bilingual, if you have done like specific data entry, if you know Microsoft Excel very well, or if you like those are like, or if you have a certain amount of typing speed, or if you have, if you have hands-on auto mechanic experience. Those are like some things that are hard skills. Soft skills are more left into not, I guess, specific. So people skills, organization, problem solving, brainstorming, attention to detail. Maybe you have some leadership ability, things like that. Those are all like the soft skills that are habits or personality traits that are like things that you do well. So those are type of things that you might want to like look at. You might want to check some boxes and say that, okay, yeah, well, I can, you know, I, I don't know, maybe I can do social media pretty well. Maybe I can design a website pretty well. Maybe I've done some teaching, I've done some lesson planning, and I also am a counselor, so I have a specific educational background. Maybe even are here, like I am certified counselor. Those are some hard skills that you could look at. Maybe that you have over here. Maybe you have some leadership ability. Maybe you can work independently. Maybe you can also have good teamwork. Maybe you also can, you're good at public speaking. Those are some options for the skills. And so like what happens there is once we get that, then we have our skills option, and we'll talk about how we should put those into your resume. And the next is educational background. So this is where you really kind of show what you've done for real. So like what you'll do is I wrote up here that, some of you guys have, I kind of can scroll up. So like you have your educational background, right? So you talk about your school, you talk about your, where you're from. You talk about your grade point average. Maybe you can even add your class rank if you feel like that's something you want to showcase. Then you have your part-time employment opportunities and like your jobs, or maybe you've had a full-time job. I don't know. That's up to you. But that's like kind of what we're going to work on now. So maybe you have an employer type of employer, and so you name your employer, name your city, state, your job title, and where you worked, how long you worked there. And then you talk about some specific things that you feel like were important to this job. So, like an example, you started responsible for sorting 1,000 small packages each hour of operation. That's just like an example that I found. I probably should have had other examples. Maybe by the time that I release this, I'll give you more examples of like what things are. Maybe you were a receptionist. Maybe you were like part of hospitality team at a senior living center where you where I took care of basic needs. Something like that. I just made that up. You can do whatever you want in there, but that's if you were like worked at the Stafford Suite or something like that, which I know a lot of people do. So those are like ways that you kind of showcase and highlight your things. Something important here, if you're thinking about ways to spice it up, maybe you don't want to say you were part of a hospitality team. Maybe you want to make sure, maybe you would say you assisted, or you coordinated hospitality care, or maybe these are just other words that you can use, give you thoughts to like spice up your resume a little bit. If you don't know what the word is, try not to use it. A lot of these words are just pulled. But if you do know, then freaking use them. You know what I'm saying? Like, have at it. So that's kind of what the first this step 4 piece is, and it is for you guys to help build your resume to make it pop, make it important, make it showcase the best you. The other information and tips is step 5. So your experiences may be limited, but you want to emphasize your other forms of work. So this is like co-curricular and volunteer activities. This is awards or achievements that you've made. So so honor roll. You're talking basketball captain. You're talking some of your more, and you could also like showcase some hard skills there, like if you're fluent in Spanish, and then types of awards, and then your skills. You can also add, because some resumes just ask for your skills up front, so you would go back to position 3, where you would look at your skills and you would like copy them over to that, because that's kind of how it's done. And these are some tips that you would want to read through to see what resume writing tips are. And then so like you're talking about your co-curricular volunteer activities. You could also add if you played football, or if you played golf, or if you volunteered at a hospital, or maybe at your church, or maybe somewhere like that, or maybe the community dinner, things like that. That's what you can add to your resume, in your resume builder planning worksheet. Then finally, we're going to references. References are just people that maybe you oversaw you work. Maybe it's a family friend that you know that you've done work for. It could be anything. It could be anything off. It could be a teacher that you know that you trust, that you like. So it could be somebody you worked for. It could be somebody from your school. Just an adult that could vouch for you. It's good to have 2 to 3 good resources. I put 4 options there. That's a good start for you. Obviously, you don't want to overload your resume with resources. It's best to have like a 1-pager resume going to employer. If they have a lot of applicants, they don't want to like be churning pages to look at what stuff that you've done. And so that's kind of how that begins, right? From there, and that's kind of what the resume planning worksheet is. It's very simple. It's very explanatory. Oh, that's a word, explanatory. Yeah, a lot of explain. I don't know if that actually fits. It's a lot of explaining of what these directions are, how these directions work, what this thing is for, and then you just kind of fill out what's in blue. I kept the reminder up there, so if you type in here and you make a copy, you might screw it up. You don't want to do that. That'd be that's not fancy. I worked pretty hard on this. I wanted to make it look good for you guys and easy. So like I mean, it's your copy. You can do whatever you want with it, I guess. but it's a great advisory, so like don't like go crazy. You get it. Anyway, so from there, what you want to do is you're going to put that on your resume, and this is going to be for next week. But you could pick any resume, basically. If I go to Google Drive, this could be any Google Drive. I work on a lot of things, but you go to here, and you want to go to Google Docs. There's templates galore about resumes, and it's really, you could find any resume. I'm showing you guys the best place to like find a resume template. So if I'm going here, I'm going general templates, and if you scroll down enough, there is a resume spot. So look at all these resumes. You could find the one that you like best. I kind of like this one. And so what you'll do, if I can open it, and it has a bunch of gibberish, but it has like the right formatting for you. What you'll do is you will basically everything from here that you made, everything you wrote in here, you'll type in here. So whether it is your step 1, your step 2, your experience, your education, your awards, all that kind of stuff. And it has your skill spot there too. You can add your career objective if you want. If you don't, that's fine. Remember, you want to try to keep it to one page, and that's what we'll do. Next week, we'll talk more about building a resume, but it might not be next week. It might be 2 weeks. I don't know. But future, we'll talk about building a resume, and we'll talk about what it takes to go in there. But this is really the first step. If you do this step, then the making of the resume will go like that. Something you keep with you. As your skills change, you can change your skills, and it's yours, right? So it's a tool to help you build the resume, to help make your resume pop and look great, and so you can showcase your skills. Until then, really, that's all I got. If you have any questions, obviously ask your advisor, ask your counselor, and then because all we want to do is we want to help you out. So until then, talk to y'all later. It's Mr. Simmons coming live from Google Drive. You guys take care.